It's just a random spot in Northern California along the Oregon border, and dozens of dead and wounded soldiers were right there.
Previously on the Modoc War, the U.S. government's Peace Commission tells the besieged Modocs to surrender. The Modocs respond by shooting the Peace Commissioners in the face. Now 2 of the Peace Commissioners are dead and 1 is seriously wounded. What happens now? Literally overnight, the U.S. population's attitude toward the Modoc shifts. The Modoc had figured that by killing the Peace Commission, the government would accept defeat and leave the Modoc alone. That's how it worked in the tribal warfare the Modoc were used to. But the Modoc have misjudged their opponents, badly. Across the country there are calls to avenge the attack on the Peace Commission. Even before the Army picks General Canby's replacement, General Sherman gives the green light to move against the Modoc. And the newspapers agree. Before they had been largely sympathetic to the Modoc. But you can't kill a Peace Commission. It's against the rules. The Army selects Colonel Jefferson Davis, who commands the 22nd Infantry Regiment, to take Canby's place. Nope, not that Jefferson Davis. This guy. Now, not many Civil War generals can say they killed another general during the war. Even fewer can say they killed another general in their own army. During the war, General Davis had shot and killed General William Bold Nelson during a dispute in Kentucky. So you can say Davis has a bit of a temper. At the time of the attack on the Peace Commission, Colonel Davis is in Indianapolis, so it will take some time for him to get to California. But retribution will not wait that long. Colonel Gillem comes up with an attack plan against a stronghold that looks a lot like Frank Wheaton's plan from January. The difference is that Gillem has almost 700 soldiers, over double the amount Wheaton had, plus mortars brought up from the Bay Area. These mortars can lob shells into the stronghold area, which the mountain howitzers can't do. Gillem also benefits from better weather. The soldiers aren't going to be dealing with the thick fog like they were in January. The second assault kicks off on April 15th. The soldiers methodically clear toward the stronghold, and when night comes they shelter in place instead of giving up their hard-earned gains. Mortar shells inflict casualties on the Modoc. Once again, though, the west and east sides can't connect to the south, and the commands unite north of the stronghold, cutting off the Modoc's water supply. Captain Jack sees the writing on the wall and prepares to evacuate the stronghold. On the night of the 16th, the Modoc escaped the Army's perimeter.
So here to the north is the Stronghold. And one of the questions is, how did they get out? How did the Modoc leave? And the answer is, they walked out. And they walked out to the south. This way, this neck of land. It's good and flat. You can get your horses, your cattle, women, children, the elderly. The soldiers now occupy the stronghold, but the Modoc are in the wind, instead of being confined to an area. And it's almost summertime too, and small bands can survive undetected in the mountains. It'll be impossible to bring them in if that happens. Luckily, Gillem receives information that the Modoc have stopped only about 4 miles south of the stronghold. This info comes courtesy of the Warm Springs Indian Scouts. These scouts come from the Warm Springs Reservation in Oregon and are led by Donald McKay, of mixed white and Indian lineage. In the days to come, the scouts will provide valuable intelligence on Modoc movements to the Army leaders. To the southwest of the stronghold is a large, sandy hill that overlooks the surrounding area. Colonel Gillem wants to see if it's a good observation point and maybe put some big guns up there. On the morning of April 26th, Captain Evan Thomas, 4th Artillery, 1st Lieutenant Thomas Wright, and 3 other lieutenants, plus a surgeon and 2 civilians, lead about 64 men on a patrol to check out the hill. They sent an Army patrol all the way down here to get to that butte. And this looks flat. It's not that flat. It's a lot of rolling terrain, a lot of rolling hills. It would be very, very easy to conceal yourself here. And that's what ended up happening. The solution to this is to post flankers at a distance along the sides of the main body. This keeps everyone from being surprised and ambushed. But the men fail to keep this formation, and the officers don't correct the problem. Only Battery A's First Sergeant, Robert Romer, takes up a proper position, parallel to the patrol's movement. As the patrol gets to the base of the hill, they take a lunch break. The infantry details troops for security, but apparently they don't take it too seriously, which they'll soon regret since they've walked into a near-perfect ambush. You can see there's a lip about halfway up that butte, and there's this ridge all the way to the south here, and it comes all the way up almost like a horseshoe shape,
and it continues right to our north here. And it's all lava rock, and this is, this is a dream defensive position. You can't make it any better than this. Colonel Gillam's report summarizes what happens next. Suddenly, the party was fired on by Indians, when a portion of the command seemed to have become panic-stricken, and organization seems, in a great measure, to have ceased. The shocked officers scramble to defeat the ambush. Captain Thomas orders an advance against the nearest ridge to the west. Lieutenant Arthur Cranston takes the 5 men closest to him, and is last seen climbing up a small hill to the northeast. But the Modoc fire dominates. Lieutenant Wright takes rounds through the groin and chest. Captain Thomas is shot repeatedly. Even the surgeon is shot in his leg. The shock of the sudden attack is too much for many of the soldiers. They don't retreat. They run. From Gillam Camp, the observation post sees the gunsmoke, but can't see the scope of the disaster unfolding. It takes hours before the first sprinting men tell the camp what has happened, and even then it strains belief. Back on the X, about 20 soldiers have stayed with the officers. All of them are dead or seriously wounded, including First Sergeant Romer, whose body lies near Captain Thomas. The slaughter is only stopped by the Modocs themselves, probably to save ammunition. Scarface Charlie's voice is heard clearly by the wounded, telling them, "All you fellows that ain't dead had better go home. We don't want to kill you all in one day." A relief party is assembled, but takes hours to reach the wounded and carry them out. Out of the roughly 70 men who started the patrol that morning, 22 are dead and 17 wounded. Of the patrol's 5 officers, 3 are dead, 1 is dying, and 1, Lieutenant Cranston, is missing, presumed killed. It's the worst defeat the Army has suffered in the war, and morale among the soldiers is at an all-time low. The Modocs seem as undefeatable as ever. What will Colonel Davis do when he arrives?